Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and there's been quite the spiciness these last couple of days in the challenger scene, especially around OpTic Chicago. Interesting timing because OpTic are back in action later today for the first time in the CDL 4 Stage 4. And try to take your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, the statistics yesterday from day 1, week 1 of the CDL for Stage 4. Simp leading the way with a 1.24. Fair play to Havoc as well, a 1.23. Massive series from him, certainly, but easyMac's also been putting together these statistics for the challenges elite, for example, and this is what comes out on the 27th of May as well. Dece leading the way with a 1.74, and there were some interesting replies to this, most certainly, because, well, Dece comes out and says, like, oh, yeah, I'm different, yeah, I'm built different, because, yeah, at the end of the day, Dece's leading the way in the Search and Destroy KD. At the same time, you know, usually you look to play well in challenges so that you can get picked up to the Pro League, right? That's kind of the idea. Like, you know, pro teams might be looking, wow, Dece's got a 1.74 in Search. If our Search and Destroy is kind of lacking, maybe it's time to bring a guy like this in. However, of course, he had his chance right on the Seattle Surge and decides to, well, deliberately leave that team and go down to the challenger side. There's been a lot of questions whether that's a good idea for him, because then again, if you're going to be on one of the best challenger teams, you might stand to make more money, especially prize money, than you would on Seattle. If, you know, maybe Seattle wins 0 prize money for the rest of the year, it's not out of the question, right? So, you know, I can understand it from that perspective, but at the same time, if I am an organization, I'm looking at Dece thinking, do I really want to take a chance on this guy? And Envoy says something kind of funny reply, you got the Lil League on lock for sure. Say like, hey, yeah, you're just, you know, you're down there with the Lil League effectively. You're not mixing it up with the big dogs. You know, you're trying to be this big fish in the small ponds, but at the end of the day, that's not really what it takes to be the best player in the world. So kind of interesting reply. And there was some more back and forth as well. What are you implying, Dylan? I'm also curious as to what he is implying. Same method to Dece, of course, stuck down there in the challenges for now, but I mean, Dece stuck there of his own accord. Seattle Surge with Classic now in the team back in action tomorrow up against the Los Angeles Thieves. This I thought was also a very interesting discussion from OpTic. Should coaches be back behind players in Call of Duty? There was back in the day, like, I mean, you'll see, maybe I think they put the video up on screen here in a second, of Pamaj back in, I'm pretty sure it was ESWC 2015, maybe it was even 2014 in Advanced Warfare, I kind of forget, but yeah, one of those events way back in the day. Pamaj was like technically coaching the OpTic team, which I mean, it wasn't really coaching them by any means, effectively just stands behind them as some sort of hype guy. But this used to be a thing in esports, right, where you could have a player like stand behind the other guy. Okay, it was Black Ops 3, that being 2016 or whatever, and here he is, Pamaj in the background, hyping up the guys, doing whatever he had to do exactly. So this is when you used to have coaches that were able to stand behind the players. However, not everyone agrees with this bringing back. I'm pretty sure Merc says in reply, maybe we'll just go and find it right here. No, it became a cop-out for players who couldn't shoot and talk at the same time, so they would just call out for them, or a coach just straight up yelled. So, you know, players that maybe, I guess it reduces the skill gap to some degree, right? Because players, in an ideal world, should be able to keep track of everything, right? I think that makes the skill gap as high as it possibly can be. The players not only have to track where all the players are on the map and what, you know, when we're going to rotate, what the timings are, and all this type of stuff about, you know, shooting and talking and calling out at the same time and what information to relay. If you've got a coach to do that kind of stuff for you, if you've got a coach to tell you, okay, 20 seconds, rotate to the new hill, then it takes some of the thought process away from the players, which, yeah, maybe makes things easier for some teams rather than others. So it's interesting discussions certainly whether they should be brought back. Of course, they still exist. They're just not allowed to stand behind the players and communicate with them in real time like they used to back in the day. So personally, I don't think this should be brought back, but I would like to see them a little bit more involved, maybe, you know, in Search and Destroy. There could be some sort of Search and Destroy timer. I don't really know. You bring the coach in. At least that's, I think, in other esports, but maybe it wouldn't work too well for Call of Duty. This I thought was interesting as well from the esports awards. So Hex and Nadeshot nominated for Personality of the Year. I think it would have been nice to see Zoomer on here, but then again, he's only been doing this stuff for a couple of months, so I can understand why he isn't on here quite already. But still, next year, I suppose, I think Zoomer definitely deserves a spot on this list for the esports awards going forwards. But cool to see some Call of Duty representation, as it tends to be nowadays. This I thought was also kind of funny that Chrome points out, Cold War Search and Destroy Donut Club. So in addition to Arcitys yesterday, these are the players that have dropped a donut so far this season. Scump with his 0-6 on Miami. He still doesn't have a kill on Miami because OpTic haven't even played it since then. They just veto it every single series. Then we've got Bants with the 0-8. That's technically the worst one of the season early on in Major 1. And then Formal with a 0-6. Classic 0-6. Cellium 0-6. Crimsix 0-7. And then Skies and Clinics also with 0-6s in addition, of course, to Arcitys last night. So the donut list is well extending by the day, but a pretty impressive list of players on here, to be honest. Wouldn't be too bad to join this club, most certainly. Let's talk about this then. So a few days ago, OpTic, of course, have been scrimming, and still scrimming off stream, which I did think was kind of interesting because they talked about a fair bit after, you know, before the major kicked off that, okay, after the major they were going to start streaming scrims again. Hasn't really happened. I mean, I guess they feel like their practice off stream is a lot better than it is on stream, and I thought maybe, okay, if they, I don't know, if they had a poor result out of the major, maybe they would have thought, okay, it's not really making any difference to us streaming this practice offline or, you know, playing it offline, therefore let's just bring it back. But maybe because they had a really good result, they think, okay, maybe it is making some difference. But regardless, we still get to kind of see what's going on in their scrims when they play against a team that's also streaming, and that of course being Esports, the team of Gravity, Jerd, John and Sib. And well, these were how the maps went on the day a couple of days ago. Yeah, it's a 5-0. I think Esports were also scrimming up against the New York Celliums versus UT crew happened before, and then there was some other series that went on as well. I think Dallas Empire played Easter as well, and it was a 2-3 map count for Easter, so pretty interesting to see that OpTic come out and win this 5-0 pretty comfortably indeed. And the discussion really was about what Sib was having to say during the whole series. I'll play a clip on screen for you guys in just a second here, but effectively he's talking about the fact that, okay, OpTic aren't even very good, like we should have done way better than 5-0ing these guys, like, you know, they're not even particularly a good team, and obviously that's, well, I suppose objectively that's just not the case, right? And it's interesting because, you know, Sib has been a player that's been talked about for a long time in the amateur scene as it's kind of the next up in terms of the pro league, as he says right here, start to become addicted to improving, but yeah, not a player that has got a shot as of yet. And a lot of people talk about the attitude stuff, right, all the time. That's the major discussion that happens around this guy, and it's been talked about the fact that he may have got his opportunity potentially to go to the subliners. I at least think that was in discussion. I'm not really sure why that fell through at the end, or maybe they decided to go a different direction, but he is technically the substitute for the Atlanta FaZe. But yeah, there's always been questions around this guy, whether he's mature enough for the pro league and whether players want to take a chance on this guy. I mean, obviously he's an incredibly talented player, but yeah, I think clips like the following one kind of well show some difficulties that they're having as a team, and well, they also lose their 4th straight match of the Elite, in addition to a bit of drama within their practice up against OpTic Chicago.
I mean, but that team, I'm not gonna lie, that team is getting better as well. Like, they went through their slump phase, and now they're on a phase where they're on their come up, so they're not gonna be playing like right now. It's just the way it is. So take a lot of valuable stuff away from that.
Yeah.
That's not even, bro. That's not even like, I don't know, man. Like,
what is valuable?
They're not
like,
that good, bro. Like, they're not good. Like, I swear,
I mean,
like,
they are good, bro.
No, they're not.
They're a good team.
No, they're. I mean, I'm not saying that they suck.
I mean, Dante, you always got to bring it back to your level of like understanding what you think good is and what good really is. Okay, because like you're already really good, right? So you're not
really
gonna think
not.
good
is.
You're
getting good on.
That's not even, dude. That's not even what's really happening.
These guys are probably playing us like, wow, these guys are ass.
I mean, I don't really care what they think when they're playing us, to be honest with you.
No, I don't care either, but it's the fact.
Also, some unfortunate news yesterday from, well, Lyman. I mean, Los Angeles Thieves, they made this card video a couple of days ago. It's actually now been taken down. I think it's unlisted, but seems to me the CDL wanted it removed. I feel bad for Lyman, really, because he spent so long making all these cards for this video, and then, you know, all of a sudden they just disappear. I don't know if he still has copies of them or whether we can maybe, like, give them away or something. I'm not 100% sure what we could do about this, but, yeah, the CDL clearly don't want this being out there. I mean, these cards are probably way nicer than whatever the CDL are going to produce, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for Lyman, to be honest. At the end of the day, like, it's not like everything within these cards are his own like content, I suppose. It's not like he owns the rights to the headshots always. So it's kind of interesting, but I think the CDL are working on their own cards. It's just somewhat unfortunate to see. And Lyman's obviously worked on this type of stuff for years, and every time he seems to do something, it takes a massive step in the right direction, like actually getting physical cards produced for Los Angeles Thieves. Then the CDL just decide to take it down. So very interesting, kind of unfortunate, really. And as our line says right here, takes my content, then silences mine. Straight up bold from the CDL. But that's what they tend to do, right? You know, I guess they could do what they want if they were having this partnership with another team, and they have a partnership with, well, apparently the partnership is with Upper Deck, as we can look at the Chrome points out right here a couple of months ago, where there was you know, CDL OpTic cards coming relatively soon. Not really sure what's taken them so long. Seems like I think they do have something similar for the Overwatch, but they're nowhere near as good, honestly, as what Lyman produces. So it's kind of unfortunate to see, to be honest. It'd be nice to have some competition within the league, but of course that's not how it tends to go, and maybe we can figure out something with Lyman's cards. But that's the problem, right, when you don't necessarily own all the intellectual property associated with the cards. This type of stuff tends indeed to happen. But yeah, I'll have to see how this develops over the coming days. Just kind of unfortunate to see. I mean, the video was only up for like a day before the CDL, I'm pretty sure, decided to say, okay, you know, we want you guys to take it down, which maybe means that these kind of cards are coming relatively soon, but maybe not. It's really tough to say at the present time. Let's talk about the games that are going on then later today. 2 matches, both very interesting games, because all of these matches include teams that have recently made a roster change. Dallas Empire now have Vivid, of course, into their squad for, well, Huke has, of course, gone out. Then FeLo came in, then he's gone out. Now Vivid's into that team from Los Angeles Guerrillas. I think that honestly could be a massive step in the right direction for this team. I think he's the perfect player to bring into a system like this. He's not going to have, he doesn't seem to be like such a crazy, opinionated, hard-headed guy. It seems like, he should get on pretty well with Crimsix, and there should be some discussion there. And of course, if you're a guy like Vivid, you get the opportunity to deal with Crim. That's the perfect opportunity for you to get some experience playing with the best player of all time. So I think the perfect opportunity for Vivid, I think he really can come into his own on this squad, and Vivid as Shotzzy as an SMG duo is going to be scary indeed. However, they do need more production out of their ALs, there's no doubt about it, if they want to become a top team once again. On the other side, you've got Ravens making 2 changes. Zap is out, Zed is out, and in comes, of course, Alex and Afro. Now, Afro is a very exciting change. I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs later today. The Alex one is interesting to me because he hasn't played in months, and Zed was honestly a stonewall. I think he was a very good player for this team, so I'm somewhat confused about that change. For that reason, I think that maybe I'm giving Empire slight, the slight preference in this series, but I think it very much could be up in the air. And I mean, obviously, that group is absolute chaos now, especially with Ultra losing to the Mutineers last night. The second series of the day, OpTic are back in action, playing the Minnesota Rokkr. Now, this series, of course, if you saw it towards the end of the major, you would have said, okay, yeah, no doubt OpTic are going to win this one. Rokkr came, I'm pretty sure, top 10 at the major, and OpTic obviously looked so good. I think OpTic, if they play like they did at the major, should certainly be favourites here. However, you've got to be a little bit scared of Rokkr, right? Because Maniac now comes into the team. Probably that's going to improve their Search and Destroy. I'm pretty sure accuracy had like a 0.6 or something, 0.62 in Search and Destroy throughout stage 3, and it was pretty woeful for them, all things considered. And that has really been the game mode where Rokkr have been a difficult team to beat, right? They can win some respawns, they can take you to a game 5, and then once you get to a game 5, it's really, well, Rokkr is not a team you want to be facing in a game 5, that is for sure, especially with Maniac in the team, who is a very good Search and Destroy player. So that's what I'd be scared about if I'm OpTic. I certainly do not want to go game 5 with the Rokkr. Want to close it out in 4 at the very least, but it's going to be interesting to see all these teams apart from OpTic have made changes coming into the start of stage 4. And well, as Asti says, is it Astro or Afro? Because his gamer tag or his Twitter handle is Astros in my Afro. I think the boys want to know, is Afro? Have you even done research? D's nuts, says Arcitys, honestly on a mad one on the timeline these last couple of days. But enjoy, take your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'm growing the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you very much as always, take care, and I will see you next time.